Our selection today is Y'all's Great Joy.
Joy, joy, Yahweh's great joy. Joy, joy,
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have favorite love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As we get closer and closer to the redemption of the children of Israel, it's certain things that we're going to have to deal with and put them in their proper place. When we understand the teachings of the daughter of Babylon, they have kind of twisted things around. And when we get ready to inherit the land that Yahweh has given to the children of Israel, we're going to have to walk in a culture. That culture is defined by what is written in his law. This is why the children of Israel did not receive a law while they were in Egypt, because it wasn't anything they could do in Egypt with law. They received law as they were coming out of Egypt, because it was that law that would sustain them in the land. And our forefathers heard all of those things, that you must do this in the land or the land will spew you out of it. We, as being, human nature, we walk in those things for a little bit. And after time, as we began to walk away from it, that land began to start spewing us out of it. And now we have been spread all over the globe, and we learn and have learned all the different cultures around the world based on wherever our captivity led us. And all of those things are going to have to be unlearned. We always consider the things that we have here as people, but we have to consider that we have there are more of our people in South America than it is here. So you have to consider all of those people have picked up different cultures. All of those cultures are going to have to move out of the way and drop out of our minds and hearts so that we can receive the culture of Yahweh, our Elohim. We'll begin today in Genesis chapter 3. Today's sermon is entitled Naked Before Elohim. Naked before Elohim. And we understand that the one thing that you have to deal with in this book is there's a time schedule for certain things to happen. And anytime something happens outside of that time schedule, it's wicked. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh El had made. And he said unto the woman, Yes, as Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
So the first thing is we need to define subtle. Read the, go to the next graphic and read the definition for subtle.
Aram, passive participle of H6191. Cunning, usually in a bad sense. Crafty, prudent, subtle.
All right. So it's intelligent, but it's wicked intelligence. Okay. So it's subtle, it's slick. So this is how the serpent was. Now the serpent was slicker than any other beast of the field which Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman. So now you have a slicker being having a conversation with a lesser being. Now understand, because it says that the man was formed from the earth, the woman was formed outside of the man. She was not made the same way that the man was made. And the slick, subtle creature is having a conversation with her to cause division in the body. Go back. Keep reading.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
Now, first of all, this conversation is being had already secondhand because the information wasn't given to her. The information was given unto the man. The man then explained that information to the woman. But in slickness, he's having the conversation with the individual who wasn't really talked to. That's already the slick part in how the conversation is taking place. He know that there's a man involved. He purposely bypassed through the man to speak to the woman. So there's already some slickness when somebody wants to have a conversation with the weaker vessel. So if there's a man in the house, but the person bypasses the man and go to the child, there's some slickness involved. Why don't you go talk to that big lion? There's a big lion that was standing at the door. Why you bypass him and went to the cub? Because you're moving in slickness. Go ahead.
You know, brother, even in that situation, as parents, we need to learn how to step into certain situations, because I had a neighbor of mine, the cops pulled up at his door, and his boys had just walked out. And the cops were like, Hey, I need to talk to y'all. He stepped out and said, No, you don't. You talk to me. I just want to ask them a question. He said, No, you will not talk to them. You will talk to me. He didn't give a that he was a cop. No, you're not going to talk to them. They're underage. You talk to me. But as a police officer who should know better, why would you want to talk to children? What are you trying to get them caught up in?
Right. He know he can force their words. He can run trickery on them that they ain't never even seen before. And before they know it, they done agreed to a crime that they didn't even know, they couldn't even spell.
I did it, Your Honor. I was guilty.
What was you guilty of?
I don't really know.
Right. That's because you've been talking to slickness over here. See? That's why they want to pull you aside and talk to you. What you want to pull me aside for? Now talk to me in the presence of everybody else. Why you got to talk to me over to the side? Go ahead.
But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die.
So now, Elohim's word is being changed and tested, but at the same time, this is all happening with the woman. He's not going to the head of the house to do this. See? So there's already something in slickness that you would find the weaker vessel of the house. See, that's a predator. Anytime a person specifically goes to the weaker individuals of a house and try to convince those people instead of going to the front of the house. If you catch somebody standing around your back door, hey man, I got a doorbell at the front. What the hell you doing walking around my back door? What you looking at my windows for? What kind of predatory mind state are you in? Why are you back here? You passed my front door to go around the side to get to my back. Because I know the weaker door was back here. Right. That's what subtle creatures do. Go ahead.
For Elohim does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Right. So now the whole thing is not just separating a separation between her and Elohim. There is now a division between her husband, and Elohim because of the slickness of how this information has been delivered. And the best way to hide a lie is in between two pieces of truth. I call it a lie sandwich. See, so you got truth here, but the meat in the middle is a lie. So when you bite into it, it tastes like the truth. But that lie is the meat part in the middle. When you start chewing it afterwards, it gives you that strange taste in your mouth. But you keep chewing because you did taste some truth. Go ahead.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise.
Right, it appealed to her senses. Okay, understand, he was made out of earth, she was made out of flesh. He has appealed to her senses, he got her. Go ahead.
She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Now, all this conversation is taking place with her, but she has the power to do something that the adversary himself didn't believe that he could do. He didn't go straight to the man. But if I can convince this weaker vessel, see, here's the thing about the weaker vessel. Sometimes you get caught into thinking that the weaker vessel is completely weak. No. See, the weaker vessel is only weak in some areas. The vessel is absolutely amazingly strong. So now the weaker vessel is now going to convince the stronger vessel to follow her. That's how much power. See, sometimes you read that and you get caught up on that weaker vessel part. So what happened is you underestimate it. You don't understand the power that it has, and then you deal with it wrong. The adversary knew how much power it had. He went straight to it. Why you bypass that man?
I got my huckleberry. How you doing, Keisha?
He knew where he was going. Go ahead.
You know, even in this, it says, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband, and her husband with her, and he did eat. Please don't think that just happened that simple.
Right. Because see, as you read, it says the husband was not deceived. The wife was. He made a decision. She was deceived. He made a decision. Need to rattle that around. She was deceived. He made a decision to follow her. He knew exactly what was told because it was told to him. He made a decision. I'm gonna follow what the honey pot say. You know what I'm saying? Baby, the honey pot go left, I'm going left too. Yeah, you ain't never seen poo without no honey pot, eh? All right then, huh? Go ahead.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Yahweh El walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh El amongst the trees of the garden.
Right. So this devilish sensual knowledge that has been given unto them has caused them to go ahead and do something. And now it has separated them from their Elohim and they don't even know it yet. Because now the voice of Elohim is in the midst and now they running. What you hiding for? Go ahead.
And Yahweh El called unto Adam and said unto him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden and I was afraid because I was naked.
Okay, so automatically now there's a different kind of fear. There's a fear that a certain amount of understanding has brought, and now they're hiding. Yahweh know he had to go and look for them. Why now I come through here and you not here? Where are you? I feel you. I know you here. What's happening here? Go ahead.
And I hid myself. And he said, who told you that you was naked?
Who told you? Who you been talking to? So then, as head of houses, there are some things that we're supposed to jump off into. Who you been talking to? Because your actions here have started to become strange. Who have you been communicating with? And now you find that there's a whole line of problems here because of who told you. Who you been talking to? Go ahead.
Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, pardon me, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
All right. She gave me of the tree. I did eat. I made a decision. All right. But let's back up and deal with something here. This is where the time stamp of something marks it whether or not it is wicked or not. They are naked and unashamed. Just as a child can be naked and unashamed until the day they have understanding. So the slick, subtle creature that started to talk to them did what? Took away their childhood innocence. So any creature that comes up and decides to talk about grown up issues with a child has taken their innocence. That's a slick, subtle, snake-like creature. You don't discuss grown-up things with children. There's something seriously, mentally, and spiritually wrong with that. Do you think Yahweh wasn't going to give them understanding of nakedness? Yes, he was. In his time, not the creature's time. But the creature has come in with slick conversation and has started giving them a different understanding that Yahweh wasn't ready for them to have. There's something wrong when your 4-year-old start talking to you about some advanced sexual thing. Who the hell you been talking to? Well, I was on this chat group and the brother sent some very descriptive pictures. Where he at? Because I want to do something to him. Where he at? Damn coward. Read, man.
And Yahweh El said unto the woman, what is this that you have done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Right. You see how the deception goes from one place to another. Deception don't stay in one place. You start talking about things that children should not be discussing. What you think, they're going to keep it to themselves? No, they're going to go and tell another child and then another child. Read, man.
And Yahweh El said unto the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon your belly shall you go, and thus shall you eat all the days of your life. And I'll put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. It shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel.
Right. So then you ain't supposed to be friends with the serpent from here on out. Because it's a slick, subtle creature that causes division with slick talk. But understand now, it knew some word about Elohim. It knew the word. No. You won't surely die. No. It knew the word. What it did was took the word out of context, because that's what the devil does. So it used the word, but for its own purpose. Go ahead.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you.
Now, all of this is coming because of this situation that has been presented. Now, imagine if the man had stood up and got in between that conversation. See, sometimes, we don't want to be, we don't want to be looked at as overbearing rulers of situations. So what we do is we give our kids leeway, we give our wives leeway, and there's some situations that you need to go and step your foot in. Who you talking to? Who is this? Every time you get on this phone talking to this person, the attitude changes when you get off the phone. Who is this? Block that number. They don't need to call you no more. Go ahead.
And unto Adam he said, because you have hearkened unto the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you.
Now listen to Yahweh's. This is how you know what Brother Kish said. Don't think that happened right at the same time, because it says, she gave to her husband with her, and they did both eat. Don't get it twisted. When you get further down, he says, because you did hearken unto the voice of your wife. If he had been there the whole time, he would have heard the serpent too. He didn't hearken to the voice of the serpent. He hearkened to the voice of his wife. So this is why it matters what kind of woman you pick. Because she has some special powers. When the woman talketh, people listeneth. So if you get the wrong one talking, hey, Samson was the strongest man known to man, right? What got him? The woman who talketh. Got him. Done deal. Can pull down strong beams and bring down whole buildings. Yet, her downstairs brought him down. Right? Read.
Saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread, till you return unto the ground. For out of it was you taken, for dust you are, and unto the dust shall you return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve.
Okay, brother, where you at?
Verse 20.
Verse 20. We were supposed to stop here.
20.
And no, I wanted to go. We were supposed to stop and go somewhere else, because there's something that I wanted you to see before that. If you're already going there, go ahead and finish to 24.
Okay. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahweh El make coats of skins and clothe them. And Yahweh El said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Therefore Yahweh El sent him forth from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken.
So this knowledge being brought in, that was brought in by this slick, subtle creature, has now caused division in the garden, and now they are not in the original place that they're supposed to be. This is what this so-called knowledge and the slickness brought. Separation. Go ahead.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life.
All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. We should be on our graphic 6 now, because there's something that we need to get out of what happened in that garden. We need to see about who the woman is. So you have this situation. It says, let us make man, right? All right. And then out of the man was then made the woman. Let's see who the woman is a representation of. Revelation chapter 12, and let's start that at verse 1.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
All right, so the woman represents Israel. The adversary, the devil, comes in and convinces Israel not to follow the law of her Elohim. With his slick, subtle self. He offers you another way of looking at what you've learned, what you have been taught. You will not surely die. See, Elohim know that you gonna be like a God. In other words, Elohim trying to hold you back. Don't think about him, think about you. Don't you love you? Right. Go ahead.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon.
The same serpent that's in the beginning is in the end. Go ahead.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head.
He just uses the physical power of the nations on the earth to then attack the woman. See, he don't have to attack the woman himself. Now he has a venue, a animal, a whole body of leadership created to attack the woman. He done got better in his attack, by the way. Go ahead.
So it's like, I'm just asking, the serpent grew, by the time it got the revelation, grew into a big dragon, like it was.
What evil you done seen stay the same? You start your kindergarten evil, you keep doing it by middle school, that evil is on swole. Hey, you talking about? You damn right it done grew. He ain't doing nothing but evil. It has gotten better at evil. It's got help at evil. It has recruited others to help him do evil. His evil got a system now. Now you just press a button. Boop. Evil on the southeast coast, please. What? Go ahead.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
Wait a minute. So he is so. What did he do in the garden? He convinced the woman to join his team. What does he do now? Now he is so convincing. He has convinced angels to leave Yahweh. What is your price for somebody to convince you to leave the word and join them? He did the same thing in the garden as he's doing now. He has not changed. He's just gotten better at it. Go ahead.
And did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Stop. So the serpent who caused the deception in the beginning is sitting there to eat her child. So first he pretends to be her friend. After some generations, he's trying to eat her child. Y'all paying attention? What predator you ever seen came up and told you on the day that he showed up that he wanted to eat your child, that he wanted to take advantage of your child? That's not what he said. He smiled and give your child everything that they asked for. But they being buttered up for the meal. But they not invited to the meal. They are the meal. Go ahead.
You know, I think we failed to realize that he kind of already was on the game plan from the day it was instituted.
Of course.
So, in the garden, he's trying to kill off Israel, and that's been the game plan. Yahweh keeps having to make tweaks and adjustments to overcome what he's done.
Look, the deceiver know he'll deceive. See, when the dude show up wearing a wire, he know what he dare to do. So he's not going to say anything that's going to make himself look bad because he know he recording. So his objective is to say as much to make you look a certain way. The deceiver know what he doing. He knew what he doing when he got up in the morning. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He had the plan all the way. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this. And when they was taping up his chest, they was telling him, all right, now see if you can get him to tell you where the drugs at. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto Elohim and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Once again, now the woman has to be separated for some form of protection from the serpent, but it was the serpent that was pretending to be the woman's friend the whole time. He's gaining a foothold in the heart of the woman. And the heart of the woman is represented by the whole Israel, which includes all of us. Go ahead.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
Right. Just because the war happens at the end, do not understand. At the beginning, when there was the deceptive move, the war had already begun. It was the logistics of war, where you move and you get certain things in order. Only a fool just get mad and swing. When somebody has a way of fighting, they post up. See, if you actually watch MMA, you'll see that one move is setting up another move. He threw the hand out there, hoping he would catch that hand. And when he did, the other hand came across the bottom of that jaw. He stuck that foot halfway out there so he'd go for that foot. That was a plan. When he tried to grab this, I'm going to put this leg over his neck and choke him with this leg here. There's a plan here. So by the time you see the war moves have been going on. If you don't recognize the war until you see smoke, you're in trouble. The war been going on. From the minute he tried to bring deception in the house, the war had began. So if you ain't careful, you think the war going on here, so you think the wrong person started the war. Because you see the war going on way in Revelation 12. You don't see the war going on in Genesis 3. Go ahead.
And prevail not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan, which deceives the whole world.
See, so what Yahweh got to do? He got to kick out the deceiver. He done already took a third of his house. You got to go. You have been able to deceive a third of my house with your slick, subtle talk. Leave. Go ahead.
He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our El, and the power of his anointed one. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Elohim day and night.
How often?
Day and night.
Right. That accusatory spirit goes hand in hand with the adversary of the devil. All it does is make accusation. It can never repent. It can never change, because all it's going to do is double back around and use whatever has been said as another accusation against somebody else. So it's not possible for repentance to happen. That's why the adversary of the devil accuses all the time. This is what he does. He accuses. He can't wait to tell on you. He convince you to do something. He's standing at Yahweh gate before you even finish doing. Yahweh, I know you know I'm out here. I need to talk about your servant. What now, Lucifer? You see what he doing, don't you? Didn't you help him do that? I sure did. But you see him doing it, right? Oh, he convinced you to do something he can't wait to tell on you. He can't wait to tell on you. And it never does occur to people. When you see a low-down, dirty snitch, what your thought is, he loyal to me. He won't be a snitch against me. Right. He gonna do the same thing to you that he did to everybody else. Go ahead.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great anger, because he knows that he has but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
He persecuted the woman. His way of operating has not changed. He does what he does. His whole thing is to be like Yahweh. What did he say? I'm going to be just like the Most High. See, this is that part where admiration turns to emulation, which at some point turns to hateration. Because I hate you because I can't be you. I hate you because I can't have what you have. Now, the only way for me to have what you have is I got to kill you. You know, I loved my elder. My son is named after my elder. That's admiration, but it never turned to hateration. I didn't ever want to be my elder. My whole part of teaching came because my elder died. But you have to watch for 1 minute, they admire you. They name their kids after you. Then after that, they try to kill you. Go ahead, bro.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent.
Now she got to be protected from the serpent. The same one she was all willing to talk to. You see how things change? She was able, see, when the serpent trying to beguile you, oh, he dealing with you softly. Now you need protection. Go ahead.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood, after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was angry with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Right. Are you even watching that the dragon is having war with your seed? Or have you not noticed yet because ain't no shots been fired? Go ahead.
You know, just to touch on what the brother brought up earlier, as you can see, it started out with the dragon, but now they go right back to letting you know it still is the serpent.
All of those things that he has gathered in the earth, he then uses to attack the woman. And hey, what's the game of chess? What happened when you take the woman?
Checkmate.
Game over. You get to the king by taking the queen. So he can't fight Yahweh straight up. I mean, he know he gonna lose that fight. So how about I attack his wife? So that's what the adversary does. The serpent comes to attack the woman. Pay attention. Go ahead.
Which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yahshua HaMashiach.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 4. We should go to graphic number 8. We went a little bit out of order there. Matthew chapter 4. And we're going to read verses 1 through 11.
Verse 1. Then was Yahshua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If you be the Son of Elohim, command that these stones be made bread.
Right. So the same thing that happened in the garden, you find that there is a situation where the adversary knows which things are important or which things have a certain power or ability. He wants to go at those things and take them first. Remember in the disciples, when you have all the disciples together, he went straight at Peter. Why? Peter was the next ruler. Yahshua said, Satan desires to sift you as wheat. Why? Lucifer already knew who the next leader was. He said, you are the rock of whom the church shall be founded. Lucifer went right at him. Said, no, I'm going at this one first. Because see, this one going to have an important job later on. Kill him now. See, the adversary got to get to you before you turn into what you're supposed to be. So you don't even know what you're supposed to be at that point. Lucifer know already, and he trying his best to attack you before you find out. See, the boy who would be king is just a little boy. He don't know that he is supposed to be king. Everybody else trying to kill him before he find out. Before he start being taught king stuff. Hurry up and kill him. Hurry up and get him. You need to hurry up and kill him or get him on your team. You need to do something. Before he find out who he really is. Go ahead.
You know, that's the thing, is that when we're going through persecution and all types of trials and tribulations, we're crying, wondering why is me, whoa, and what's going on. And the question should be, what does Yahweh have for me that Lucifer is trying to keep me away from?
Oh, yeah. Why is his attention on me? Why all of a sudden he feel like I'm important? I wasn't important all other times in the world. All of a sudden now I'm the focus of his attention. Now you want to wee poo poo me? Stay the hell away from me. Go ahead.
Verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of El. Then the devil takes him up into the holy city and sets him on a pinnacle of the temple and says unto him, if you be the son of Elohim, cast yourself down.
Right. Tempt Elohim. See? Tempt Elohim. Push yourself to do something and let's see if Elohim come out of heaven and save you. See, that's why I stopped riding that crotch rocket. I felt like I was testing my angel as I went 150 down I-20. I say, you know what? I'm making the angel hard to keep me alive. Boy, he having to work too hard to keep me living. I got that. This ain't gonna work right now. Go ahead.
For it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against a stone.
Right. Now, he understands the word. He understands the word enough to use it out of context to push you to do something out of character. Go ahead.
Yahshua said unto him, it is written again, you shall not tempt the Adonai your El.
Right. He didn't say what you said was a lie. What he said was, by giving him something else, let me put that what you just read back into context. Because what you said was true, but it was out of context. Because if I follow that, I have now tempted my Elohim. Go ahead.
Again, the devil takes him up into an exceeding high mountain and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them.
Now, this helps again what Brother Jazz was asking about. All right. Now, again, the devil takes him up into an exceeding high mountain and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. Go ahead.
And says unto him, all these things will I give you if you will fall down and worship me.
Stop. All this his. This his stuff. See, the adversary of the devil can offer you all manner of things. People always like, we have somehow made a equal part of monetary blessing and money, and people say, well, I'm blessed. They forget that the adversary of the devil has the right to give that. So anytime somebody gives some money, I'm blessed by God. What God? What's that name? Which God blessed you? Because Lucifer said, I'll give you all this stuff if you just fall down and worship me. I'll give it to you. I got it all. Tell me what you want. Yeah, look, just pick out what you want. Go ahead.
Then says Yahshua unto him, get you hence, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Adonai your Elohim, and him only shall you serve. Then the devil leaves him.
The devil does not leave him until he resists him. As long as there's an open door for the serpent, he continues at you until you shut the door. See, sometimes people are given certain things. People will receive a call from an adversary. You have to ask yourself, why they keep calling you? That's because you ain't told them to stick it where the sun don't shine. That's why they keep calling you. Once you tell them one good time where to put that, they're not going to keep calling you. Go ahead.
And behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
So the angels came and ministered after he took care of that business. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. They were going down a list of who to call. And right when they got to them people that says, shove it up in your... No, don't call them. Take their name off the list. That's how you get your name off the call list right there. Soon as they start up, you can take that and shut... yeah. Yeah.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Adonai, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long-suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as you are called in one hope of your calling.
Right. It's one body and it's one spirit. But see, the serpent has to come in and cause division. And what a clique-based thing does is cause a division in that one body. Because now a clique causes a separation, and now the clique operates as its own body. See, the clique gonna take up its own offering, do its own thing, have its own things happening without the rest of the body. See, it's separating from the body. See, there's something wrong when your foot just decide that it just want to walk somewhere else. Like, where is my foot going? I'm trying to go this way and my foot keep going that way. Eventually, you're going to feel that schism in your body because this thing is not on one accord. One part of it keeps trying to pull off and do its own thing. That ain't going to work. Go ahead.
One Adonai, one faith, one baptism, one Elohim and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Yahshua. Wherefore he says, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. Now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descend first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers.
Right. All of these are to do the work for the one same body. They don't take their personal gifts and use it to carve out their own little section. All of their gifts are used for the same body to make the one body as a whole stronger. There's something wrong if you go to the gym and don't work out but one arm. And you got this dude with this one big muscular arm, and the whole other side of his body is just weak as all get out. Man, what is wrong with that dude? Bad enough you see the dudes that don't do nothing but work up the top half, and they muscular all up. So you know, they look like Yona up top, but they look like Nemo in the bottom, you know what I'm saying? And you looking like, what the way he look like my little boy at the bottom. What's wrong with his legs? Are those man legs? What are those? Because he didn't work out none of those. See? There's something wrong with that. And you see dudes in the gym all day and you just want to go up to them. Excuse me, man, they got a leg lift over there. I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying there is a leg lift over there. You should see it. Would you like for me to show it to you? Go ahead.
For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahshua, till we all come into the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of Elohim, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of the Anointed One. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro.
Right. Be no more children tossed to and fro. So when somebody comes at a child, you already know that is a slick individual. Why don't you approach some of them grown men with some of that slick subtleness? Well, I'll never see you with the grown men. Go over there and see if you can deceive some of them. Because they take the weaker prey. Go ahead.
You know, even in that verse where it's saying children being tossed to and fro, we have to put that in your head. That means you can take a child in this direction, turn around, take him in that direction, turn around, take him in that direction.
You got it.
That's manipulation.
Right. And it's not about how smart they are. Because a child can still be intelligent, but not be educated about the world and the ways of deception, so they don't see those deceptive ways being brought. Man, one of my friends told me that he was, and I've been knowing this guy for decades. And out of nowhere, he told me, he was molested. Hey, man, I was crying on the way home. It took him that long to actually say what had happened, and it was the same thing. Dude act like he was his friend, start, offering him this, offering him that, telling him, no, what you're doing ain't wrong, and convinced him to allow him to do some things. And this was one of the roughest brothers I knew. Maybe that was why he was so rough. He was like, oh, hell no, I ain't no, I didn't know. I mean, man, I was crying driving home. Never knew that, but I understood why it took him so long to talk about it. But it was the slick, subtle things of infiltrating and taking advantage of a child. And there's something seriously wrong with that. Go ahead.
Verse 14. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahshua, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplies, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love.
So you have these different parts of the body, and then they come through, they connect through the joints. So they have this part, you got the arm that then connects with a joint that connects to another part of the body, which then connects through a joint through another part. So then there are all of these joints that then connect the different parts of the body, and they all do and perform their purpose without magnifying itself against the other. The hand don't just say, you know what, feet, you stink. I'm glad I'm not you. And look at it, what is that fungus that's growing on you? What is that? I don't even think you should be in this body no more. Now, you got a schism in the body. How you going to move now? Because now you have purposely caused the problem with your feet. The parts of the body that seem not to be useful, you find out how useful they are when they're not there, when they are stolen from you. You wake up in the morning without your foot, you're going to have to, your whole life about to change. You're finna have to figure out some whole nother things. You didn't think about your foot every day, but I tell you what, you're going to think about it the day it's gone. Because you're going to have to rebalance. You're going to have to figure out some other things. Go ahead.
This I say therefore, and testify in the Adonai, that you henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Elohim through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But you have not so learned Yahshua, if so be that you have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahshua, that you put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lust.
We all got an old man. All right. Now, when you come into the word, it doesn't mean that you are going to completely change who you were. We began to change from the dealings, the old dealings. That old man is still in there. And all you got to do is poke him, and that old man will jump right out of there. Go there. Hey, Mishael sound like he's speaking R&B, don't he? Yeah, how you doing, yo? Hey, what's up, brother? Go over there and poke him a few times and see what happens. We're going to have to tie down Corbin. He's going to come right out of there. That old man is still in there. Okay? But what you do is you try to walk in a way to keep that old man from being in the forefront every day. Oh, I can tell you, the old man is still in here. Come over here and poke me a couple times. I'll show you. Go ahead. Go ahead. You bad? Go ahead and poke me. I'll show you. I wasn't born a priest. My mama didn't give birth. Ah, congratulations, you have a priest. No, that ain't what happened. That ain't what happened. Poke me. I'll show you. Read, man.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man, which after Elohim is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore put away lying. Speak every man truth with his neighbor.
Right. And see, this is where the whoremonger think he doing the same thing that the married people doing. But anytime you got brothers that say they don't went through the book and they say, oh man, I can find multiple marriage in here. So this is what I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna tell my wife this is what I'm doing. Once you start lying, and if everybody involved don't know what's going on, ain't no choice but to lie. Now, it says all liars shall have their part that burns with fire and brimstone. So if you're going back and forth lying, the adversary, the devil, has made you take a legal concept and deal with it illegally, which now makes the whole concept illegal. You're still getting thrown in the lake of fire. Congratulations. You and your side chick. Read, bro.
For we are members one of another.
Y'all can hug each other in the fire.
Be you angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needs. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
Right. Do we even understand what corrupt communication is? See, a person can be smiling and talking just as soft, and that communication is corrupt. You listen to another dude screaming, that dude screaming at you, trying to keep you from going down a path. You might think that's corrupt communication. He might be cussing at you, trying to get you, don't go down that path, boy. You don't know no better. You think that's the one with corrupt communication. The one with corrupt communication is the one who operate like the slick, subtle creature in the garden. You will not surely die. Right. Read, man.
But that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. That all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you.
Please don't take that out of context, because there's an equation given to us for forgiveness. It says if your brother sin against you, rebuke him. That means you got to say something to him. If he repent, then forgive him. And that equation was given unto us by Yahshua. You can find that in the red writing. So don't get it twisted when people just come up and say, you know, if you a person in the word, you should just forgive me. You need to read that word a little bit deeper. Where is your repentance? That means you got to actually acknowledge that something happened. And this is what people want to do. They want to avoid acknowledging anything. They just want to jump to you forgiving them. Let's just forgive me so we can move on. And I'll do you wrong later this month. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11.
Verse 1. Would to Elohim you could bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to the Mashiach. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety,
through his slickness, he deceived her. Go ahead.
So your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Yahshua.
Right. So then the adversary is still alive and kicking. When the word comes in, here he comes to try and change that word, or to make you look at any of the deliverers of that word in a suspect fashion. As Miriam said about Moshe, we all are holy. Every one of us. Yahweh said, I don't worry about this. I got this. Oh, so, we all holy? Oh, I got this. Step out the way. I got this. Go ahead.
For if he that comes preaches another Yahshua, whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit which you have not received, or another gospel which you have not accepted, you might well bear with him.
Right. When another spirit, you have to examine the words that proceed out of somebody's mouth. And if it doesn't coincide with the spirit of the things that's written in here, there's something that's wrong with it. And that's why people got to pull you to the side. Because, see, you can't talk that slick, subtle talk in front of everybody. See, truth can be spoken in a room full of everybody. Slick, subtle deception has to happen over to the side. The serpent didn't talk to the woman in the presence of her husband. I need to talk to you over here by the side. Come here. Now a little further. Okay, now behind this rock. Okay, now stoop down. Right. Why we got to talk back here? Why we can't talk over there where all them rest of them lions at? That way, when they hear something wrong, they say, excuse me, brother, what did I just hear? Something? That's why they can't have that conversation in front of everybody. Go ahead.
For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles, but though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things.
Right. Does my speech bother you? Is it too rough for you? Do I need to offer you the truth in French? Say, oui, poo. Is there you love Joshua? No? See? But of course. Yeah, that's how you want to hear the word? We need to romanticize it? Esau shall not commit any evil. Thou shalt not. That's what you want to hear? Go somewhere else. Read, brother.
Have I committed an offense in abasing myself that you might be exalted, because I have preached to you the gospel of Elohim freely? I robbed other churches, taking wages of them to do you service. And when I was present with you and wanted, I was chargeable to no man, for that which was lacking to me the brethren which came from Macedonia supplied, and in all things I have kept myself from being burdensome unto you, and so will I keep myself. As the truth of Yahshua is in me, no man shall stop me of this boasting in the regions of Achaia. Wherefore? Because I love you not. Elohim knows. But what I do, that I will do, and that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as we.
But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion. They're looking for an opportunity to cause a schism. Go ahead.
For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Yahshua. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Right. So then you see with one foot, they walk in the word, and then the other foot is all in the world. Go ahead.
Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. I say again, let no man think me a fool. If otherwise, yet as a fool receive me, that I may boast myself a little. That which I speak it not after the Adonai, but as it were foolishly, in this confidence of boasting. Seeing that many glory after the flesh, I will glory also. For you suffer fools gladly, seeing you yourselves are wise. For you suffer, if a man bring you into bondage, if a man devour you, if a man take of you, if a man exalt himself, if a man smite you on the face. I speak as concerning reproach, as though we had been weak. Howbeit, whereinsoever any is bold, I speak foolishly. I am bold also. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I.
So the people he having issues with is not Euro Gentiles. See, we always want to put the fight with somebody else. No, the battle you're going to have with people, they look just like you. They claim to be Hebrews just like you, but they got a different doctrine. And are you just going to sit to the side and bow down to their doctrine, or are you going to fight for the trueness of this word? Go ahead.
Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they the ministers of Yahshua? I speak as a fool. I am more, in labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent, in deaths oft. Of the Yehudis 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one. 3 times was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. 3 times I suffered shipwreck. A night and day I have been in the deep.
Right, and we'll argue, cause we got some bleach on our favorite pair of pants. And these people going through pure hell to deliver the word. Go ahead.
In journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by mine own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness. Beside those things that are without, that which comes upon me daily, the care of all the churches.
The care of all the churches added to all of the issues that I encounter. Go ahead.
Who is weak, and am I not weak? Who is offended, and I burn not? If I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern mine infirmities.
Right, because those things are the things that Yahweh is working on my spirit with. So instead of me complaining about those things, those are my opportunities for growth. Go ahead.
The El and Father of our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, which is blessed forevermore, knows that I lie not. In Damascus, the governor under Aretas, the king kept the city of the Damascenes with a garrison, desirous to apprehend me. And through a window in a basket was I let down by the wall and escaped his hands.
Right. He is just in delivering the word, he has become a fugitive and having to run from the law at that point. Let's go to Exodus chapter 32. Exodus chapter 32, and we're going to start that at verse 14. We're going to read verses 14 through 28. Exodus chapter 32. And verses 14 through 28.
Verse 14. And Yahweh repented of the evil which he taught to do unto his people. And Moshe turned and went down from the mount, and the 2 tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written. And the tables were the work of Elohim, and the writing was the writing of El graven upon the tables. And when Yahshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moshe, There's a noise of war in the camp.
Now, Yahshua's the next leader, right? But Yahshua is being trained. See, now, it said Yahshua was a good-hearted individual. His heart was with Yahweh. But right now, Yahshua does not have that level of understanding. Yahshua thinks it's war. See, this is something that he hasn't encountered. But he doesn't boast himself against his teacher. He is just saying what he thinks it is. And he allows himself to be corrected by his teacher. So this is the next leader saying there's a noise of war in the camp. And Moshe has to correct him. Go ahead.
And he said, It is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear.
Right. What you listening to is a party, son. I don't think you understand. That's some boogie oogie. What's going on right there? Keep watching. I'm about to show you something. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as soon as he came near unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moshe's anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hand and brake them beneath the mount.
Now, if you don't know no better, Moshe looks like a real angry, individual. All right.
Here it is. We was partying. Everybody was minding their own business. Now here come this old mad dude from the top of the mountain and just slamming down stuff. It just a buzzkill. It ruined my buzz. I was really feeling it. Till he got down here and started throwing tables and stuff.
Go ahead. Oh, he ain't done either. Go ahead.
But what we got to keep in mind is the anger's getting hotter and hotter the closer he gets.
Yes. Yes. See, that's the one thing Israel has the power to do. Israel, we're talking about a meek man whose life changed every time Yahweh gave him another direction. But even Israel made him say some stuff that he wished he hadn't said. That's what Israel do. Just push you. Just make you. Go ahead, bro.
And he took the calf which they had made and burnt it in the fire and ground it to powder and strawed it upon the waters and made the children of Israel drink of it.
Okay, he really looks like a buzzkill now. Because now you're going to break the tables, grind them to powder, and then force them to eat or drink it? You know how this is absolutely bitter at this point. And this was after he just broke up a party. So he's not looked upon favorably at this point. Okay? He done bust up the party. They had some real shindiggery going on. The party's been broke up. He done broke the tables, grinded the powder, put it in the water, made them drink it. But wait, there's more. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto Aaron, what did this people unto you, that you have brought so great a sin upon them? And Aaron said, let not the anger of my master wax hot.
Let me tell you something. This is where the power of your job ends up saving your hide. Under any other circumstances, Aaron should be dead. Go ahead.
You know the people, that they are set on mischief. For they said unto me, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moshe, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we know not what is become of him. And I said unto them, whosoever has any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it me. Then I cast it into the fire, and there came out this calf.
Calf just came out. It just came out. I took the earring, and then when I put it in the heat, and the calf just came out. It was miraculous. Go ahead.
And when Moshe saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies.
So hold on. Once you have abandoned the law of your Elohim, your spiritual covering is removed. So then the adversary from the beginning desires to make you naked. This is why they are infatuated with nakedness. They need you to be naked without a covering of the spirit. Because then you can be devoured. Go ahead.
Then Moshe stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on Yahweh's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, thus says Yahweh El of Israel, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor.
Moshe don't look like, when people, it says that Moshe was the meekest man on the earth. Sometimes people think meek means weak. I don't think they understand how many things Moshe has forced to happen when they did wrong. Moshe wasn't nothing to play with. Go ahead.
And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moshe, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men.
Right. So 3,000 people got killed after they decided to have them a nice little party. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 23. See, we don't see the death that comes behind the things that we are coerced into doing. See, we just see the event. But if you hold on long enough, you'll see the death that comes behind the event. Ezekiel 23, and let's start that at verse 1.
The word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother. And they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. There were their breasts pressed, and there bruised the teats of their virginity. And the names of them were Aholah, the elder, and Aholibah, her sister. And they were mine, and they bare sons and daughters. Thus were their names. Samaria is Aholah, and Jerusalem Aholibah.
Right. So this is the very situation that you have with Jacob marrying Leah and Rachel, which were sisters from the same house. Yahweh is dealing with the same situation. Aholah and Aholibah, these both are mine. But see, Yahweh ain't sneaking. These ain't no side chicks. Go ahead.
And Aholah played the harlot when she was mine, and she doted on her lovers, on the Assyrians her neighbors, which were clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses. Thus she committed her whoredoms with them, with all them that were the chosen men of Assyria, and with all on whom she doted. With all their idols she defiled herself. Neither left she her whoredoms brought from Egypt, for in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity, and poured their whoredom upon her.
Right. So then when we look at this situation, it says, if a woman go outside of her husband and go with another man, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But he said, Israel, you have polluted yourself among many other lovers, yet you return unto me. Go ahead.
Wherefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, upon whom she doted. These discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters, and slew her with the sword, and she became famous among women, where they had executed judgment upon her. And when her sister Aholibah saw this, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms. She doted upon the Assyrians her neighbors, captains and rulers clothed most gorgeously, horsemen riding upon horses, all of them desirable young men. Then I saw that she was defiled, that they took both one way.
They took both one way. I am not going into that. Go ahead.
And that she increased in her whoredoms. For when she saw men portrayed upon the wall, the images of the Chaldeans portrayed with vermilion, girded with girdles upon their loins, exceeding in dyed attire upon their heads, all of them princes to look to, after the manner of the Babylonians of Chaldea, the land of their nativity.
All of the things that we pick up come from the daughter of Babylon. We pick up their ways and we start merging their things into the culture of Yahweh Elohim. And don't consider that as evil. Go ahead.
And as soon as she saw them with her eyes, she doted upon them, and sent messengers unto them into Chaldea. And the Babylonians came to her into the bed of love, and they defiled her with their whoredom, and she was polluted with them, and her mind was alienated from me. So she discovered her whoredoms, and discovered her nakedness. Then my mind was alienated from her.
So separation from Yahweh's law ends up causing Yahweh to separate from us. Same as it was in the beginning. Go ahead.
Like as my mind was alienated from her sister. Yet she multiplied her whoredoms, and calling to remembrance the days of her youth, wherein she had played the harlot in the land of Egypt. For she doted upon their paramours, whose flesh is as the flesh of asses, and whose issue is like the issue of horses. Thus you called it to remembrance the lewdness of your youth, and bruising your teats by the Egyptians for the paps of your youth. Therefore, O Aholibah, thus says the Adonai Yah, behold, I will raise up your lovers against you, from whom your mind is alienated, and I will bring them against you on every side.
So the very ones that you end up giving all of your time and attention to, I'm going to cause those very ones to be the ones that come against you. The very ones that you step away from me to give them your chief time, those are the ones that I'm going to use to come against you. Go ahead.
The Babylonians and all the Chaldeans, Pekod, and Shoah, and Koah, and all the Assyrians with them, all of them desirable young men, captains and rulers, great masters and renowned, all of them riding upon horses. And they shall come against you with chariots, wagons, and wheels, and with an assembly of people, which shall set against you buckler and shield and helmet round about. And I'll set judgment before them, and they shall judge you according to their judgments. And I'll set my jealousy against you, and they shall deal furiously with you. They shall take away your nose and your ears, and your raiment shall fall by the sword. They shall take your sons and your daughters, and your residue shall be devoured by the fire. They shall also strip you out of your clothes and take away your fair jewels. Thus will I make your lewdness to cease from you, and your whoredom brought from the land of Egypt, so that you shall not lift up your eyes unto them, nor remember Egypt any more. For thus says the Adonai Yah, behold, I will deliver you into the hand of them whom you hated, into the hand of them from whom your mind is alienated. And they shall deal with you hatefully, and shall take away all your labor.
Right. They're using your labor. They're going to misuse your labor. They're going to show you what was truly in their heart from the beginning. And that was using you. Once they get what they need, they don't need you anymore. Because that's what users do. There's no convincing a snake to not be a snake. You can send the snake to obedience school. I need you to stop slithering. And you can spend all your little chief money. And as soon as you get done, that snake gonna do exactly what it do. And slide right on up out of there. Go ahead.
And shall leave you naked and bare. And the nakedness of your whoredoms shall be discovered, both your lewdness and your whoredoms. I will do these things unto you, because you have gone a whoring after the heathen, and because you are polluted with their idols. You have walked in the way of your sister. Therefore will I give her cup into your hand. Thus says the Adonai Yah, you shall drink of your sister's cup deep and large. You shall be laughed to scorn and had in derision. It containeth much. You shall be defiled with drunkenness and sorrow, with the cup of astonishment and desolation, with the cup of your sister Samaria. You shall even drink it and suck it out, and you shall break the sherds thereof, and pluck off your own breasts. For I have spoken it, says the Adonai Yah. Therefore thus says the Adonai Yah, because you have forgotten me, and cast me behind your back, therefore bear you also your lewdness and your whoredoms. Yahweh said moreover unto me, Son of man, will you judge Aholah and Aholibah? Yes, declare unto them their abominations.
Yahweh said moreover unto me, Son of man, will you judge Aholah and Aholibah? Or are you too busy trying to be their friend? Because if you're going to cause her to see her abominations, that means you're going to say some difficult things. If you're going to cause these two sisters to see their abominations, and do understand, when you try to bring out those abominations, you're going to be attacked. So this is a real question. Are you going to judge them for me? Because you understand, when you start talking to her about her abominations, she going to attack you. And she going to make whatever she can convince to attack you as well. Are you ready for that? Go ahead.
That they have committed adultery, and blood is in their hands. And with their idols have they committed adultery, and have also caused their sons, whom they bear unto me, to pass for them through the fire, to devour them.
Right, because other nations were sacrificing their kids, burning their kids in the fire. Then we turned around and did the same thing. Go ahead.
Moreover, this have they done unto me. They have defiled my sanctuary in the same day, and have profaned my Sabbaths.
Listen to this. They defiled my sanctuary in the same day. Keep reading.
For when they had slain their children to their idols, then they came the same day into my sanctuary to profane it. And lo, thus have they done in the midst of mine house.
Right. So folks would be, they got two manner of lives. They just got through doing all kind of foulness, and then come right in the sanctuary and defile Yahweh's sanctuary and brought that mess in. Because it was time to put the Hebrew face on when I got here. Go ahead.
And furthermore, that you have sent for men to come from far, unto whom a messenger was sent, And lo, they came, for whom you did wash yourself, painted your eyes, and deck yourself with ornaments, and satteth upon a stately bed.
Right, they put on the makeup. See, so when people get, kind of, upset,
What you mean you can't wear no makeup on the Sabbath day? I don't understand that.
when they put on makeup, they was ready to. What they about to do when they put their makeup on? Right. You even do that with nobody up in here? Read, man.
And a table prepared before it, whereupon you have set my incense and mine oil. And a voice of a multitude being at ease was with her. And with the men of the common sort were brought Sabaeans from the wilderness, which put bracelets upon their hands, and beautiful crowns upon their heads. Then said I unto her that was old in adulteries, will they now commit whoredoms with her, and she with them? Yet they went in unto her, as they go in unto a woman that plays the harlot. So went they in unto Aholah, and unto Aholibah, the lewd women. And the righteous men, they shall judge them after the manner of adulteresses, and after the manner of women that shed blood, because they are adulteresses, and blood is in their hands. For thus says the Adonai Yah, I will bring up a company upon them, and will give them to be removed and spoiled.
And understand, as it's dealing with these two adulteresses, these are the entire nation of Israel that he's dealing with. So please don't just deal with the situation that is mentioning this in the communication of a woman. This is the whole nation. All right. So this is men, women, and children he's talking about here. Go ahead.
And the company shall stone them with stones, and dispatch them with their swords. They shall slay their sons and their daughters, and burn up their houses with fire. Thus will I cause lewdness to cease out of the land, that all women may be taught not to do after your lewdness. And they shall recompense your lewdness upon you, and you shall bear the sins of your idols, and you shall know that I am the Adonai Yah.
Right. But these things happen, and a righteous judgment is able to be pushed forward because somebody opens their mouth and says something. See, there's things that we, will feel uncomfortable about. We say, hey, this situation has happened and I don't like this situation. But then we wrestle with ourselves about whether or not we're going to say something to those individuals about those things. You have to go ahead and prepare yourself that, hey, you may get ready to say something and they may come out of a bag on you. It is what it is. But it's your duty that you got to deal with something. Otherwise, you just walk around with a bunch of anger in your heart. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 30. And why would you spare somebody else uncomfort or discomfort? They didn't care nothing about your discomfort. They'll bring you all manner of uncomfortable stuff and bring it and drop it right at your door. Then you worry about how they gonna feel. Isaiah chapter 30, and let's read verses 1 through 15.
Woe to the rebellious children, says Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me.
They take counsel, but not of me. See, this is why the little slick, deceptive counselors need to talk to people outside of the arena where everybody else is. Because they can't give that counsel in the presence of real brothers in the word. Because they're going to pick out that counsel. Hey, man, why would you tell somebody that right there? You know that this is a young brother or a young sister that's not of age. Why are you introducing those concepts? And why would you even make passwords and things that are of suggestive nature to children? What kind of mindset do you have to be in to do something like that? So you can't do that in the presence of real brothers in the word, because they're going to pick it out and say, what the hell is wrong with you? Go ahead, brother.
And that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
They covered with a covering, but it ain't his spirit. So whose spirit are they covered with? Because no man walking in the spirit of Yahshua is going to perform certain things. See, there's a time and a place for everything. Go ahead.
That they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach. The burden of the beast of the south, into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon their shoulders upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. Now go.
That's what we have the biggest problem with. Sitting still. See? Sitting still is stability. Go ahead.
Now go. Write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. For this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yah, which say to their seers, See not, and to the prophets, Prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit.
So this is what sets us up to be overcome by the deceivers, because we want to hear slick things. We want to hear smooth things. We don't want to hear the uncomfortable, hard truth. See? We want to have somebody whisper some real smooth niceties in our ears. The ones that pretend to be our friends and lead us down the wrong path. That's what we want to hear. So we get ourselves in these situations. Go ahead.
Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus says the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon.
You trusted in oppression and perverseness. Why? Because that's what you were led to. See, a lot of these things that you see that have taken place, you can't blame the young adults and children for that. You have to blame the leadership that led them into that. Go ahead.
Therefore this lawlessness shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessels that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For thus says the Adonai Yah, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall you be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. And you would not.
And you would not. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 61. Isaiah chapter 61, and let's start that at verse 1.
The Spirit of the Adonai Yah is upon me, because Yahweh has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison of them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. but you shall be named the priest of Yahweh.
You shall be named the priest of Yahweh. Somebody else gonna do the work for all the labor that we have been made to do. The sons of the alien, the foreigners gonna do that work for you. They gonna come and come and work your garden. They gonna come and take care of your grounds. You're supposed to be a priest of Yahweh. So are you gonna be about that business? Or when we hear, does every little thing drive us off from dealing with the things of Yahweh? This is what your future holds. So if you take care of Yahweh's business, when it comes down to getting all of those things, we ain't gonna have to worry about nothing but Yahweh's business. See, right now, you know, hey, when the woman say, this grass getting kind of high, you know that she just starting. You know you finna hear that about 3-4 more times. You know what I'm saying? She just warming up, you know what I'm saying? She just, just put that out,
Ooh, look at that grass.
All right. So that was her first go round. Hey, we get in the kingdom, then we can answer that back. She said, oh, that grass getting high. It sure is. Hey, man, go cut that grass. I took care of that for you, baby. Go ahead, bro.
Men shall call you the ministers of our El. You shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. And in their glory shall you boast yourself.
What you think that mean? In their glory shall you boast yourself. I took care of that for you, baby. Did you see how I cut that grass? Read, bro.
For your shame you shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, Yahweh, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering.
I, Yahweh, love judgment. I love judgment. But when you get ready to deal with judgment, you're going to find the haters of Yahweh coming against you. That's how you tell who is who and what spirit they are entertaining. Why are you so against righteous judgment? Right. Because you're doing what your daddy do. Your daddy, the devil, I mean. Go ahead.
And I will direct their work in truth, and I'll make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh has blessed. I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my El. For he has clothed me with the garments of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness.
He has clothed me. Okay? He has clothed me with the garments of salvation. But the adversary is trying to get you naked. The adversary is trying to get you without a covering. And that's a gradual thing. See? Go ahead.
As a bridegroom decks himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. For as the earth brings forth her bud, and as the garden causes the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Adonai Yah will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations.
All right, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. Sometimes you say stuff, man, and you don't really consider that you say that stuff all the time. I was putting up a door in my house, and I had my son Nehemiah helping me. And I said, all right, man, well, we just finna, this is all we're gonna clean up, and that's all we're gonna do for the day. He said, well, Shabbat Shalom. Took me a minute to catch what he was talking about. I said, what? That ain't the Sabbath, bro. What you? Oh. I didn't catch that right away. Matthew chapter 22. Let's read verses 1 through 14.
And Yahshua answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come on to the marriage. But they made light of it and went their ways.
They made light of it and went their ways. So instead of being focused on Yahweh's things, they got their own thing that they're going to tend to. And Yahweh's things end up being not as important. So Yahweh's things began to decay while their own things begin to flourish, because that's where they're going to put their time. So at the end, when we get people to take care of all of our things, they won't qualify for that. Because they didn't do that in this life, they will not receive that later on. Because they didn't walk like that. They took care of their own personal business. The people who take care of Yahweh's business, Yahweh's going to take care of their personal business. That grass is not my responsibility no more. I got somebody to do that. Go ahead.
One to his farm, another to his merchandise. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth. And he went forth with his armies and destroyed those murderers and burnt up their city. Then says he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go you therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage.
Right. So then we have this word. We put it out on the internet. We invite people to come and deal with this word. Go ahead.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good.
Right. You speak the word. You don't pick and choose who it is. You drop the word. Either they're going to deal with it or they're not going to deal with it. Go ahead.
And the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he says unto him, Friend, how came you in hither not having a wedding garment?
Right. Are you not covered with a covering of his spirit? Are you clothed with the right garment? Go ahead.
And he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Right. Many are called. So everybody that come through that door is not chosen. They are called. Man has to walk to make that decision in his own heart and mind whether he is going to even allow Yahweh to choose him. Many are called, but few are chosen. That's all we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.